basically there has been, I would say, nothing short of an epidemic of celebrities looking really weird.
When I look around this room, I can't help but wonder, is Ozempic right for me?
For so many of us, obesity is a disease. The science is now clear. Obesity is not a choice. It is not caused by a lack of willpower or inherent laziness or you not doing enough.
I went to lunch with like a girlfriend and she's like, I'm not really eating anything. I'm so nauseous. I'm on Ozempic.
For 3 parts of this series, the story has mostly been about silence, celebrities changing in front of the world while saying absolutely nothing. Part 4 is different. This is the part where the confessions arrive.
A bit of it for me felt like force feeding sometimes just so I could go about my day and go about my job. And that for me is almost torturous. Not being hungry at all and consuming food, it was that, I hate that. I love being hungry. I love craving food. I love desiring food. I get so excited to make it, to try it, to taste every part of it. So I found it to be a bit, until you get like the right dosage, until I got that right dosage, it took a while before I would even get feelings of hunger.
A supermodel admitting the jab took her career to another level and calling it a crutch in the same breath.
Suspect randomly lost 20 pounds, says it's from working out, but she got on Ozempic.
A daytime TV legend casually outing her entire panel on live television.
Joy Behar shares she's hopped on the GLP-1 bandwagon.
And a reality star who's warning about what this did to her mind might be the most important 60 seconds in this whole series.
It scared me so bad I didn't think I was gonna make it through the 2 weeks. I had no emotion. My eyes were black. I had no joy, nothing to live for. It was so dark.
17 stories. And this time, most of them are told in their own words. If you've been with this series since part 1, you know how deep this research goes. If you're new, subscribe now, because this is the part where everything gets honest. Number 17. We're opening with the case that demands the most care, because Kate Beckinsale's story is a warning about us, the audience, more than it is about her. Starting in late 2024, fans noticed the actress looking dramatically thinner, noticeably so. The comments came fast, with people writing that they didn't recognize her, that they hoped she was okay, and inevitably telling her to stop with the Ozempic. The internet had its diagnosis ready before anyone asked a single question. But the real story was heartbreaking in a completely different way. Beckinsale was living through the most painful stretch of her life. Her stepfather passed in early 2024. Her mother, who she was extraordinarily close to, passed in the summer of 2025.
I lost my stepfather a while ago, a couple years ago. And I'd already watched my father die because my mum was in hospital and it was just me.
She was also managing serious health challenges of her own during that same window. When one commenter asked if she had a problem, her answer was devastating. She wrote, "Yes, I do. I'm going through one of the most deeply painful times of my life. The body keeps the score." In a later video, she explained that watching the people you love most suffer simply takes your appetite away. And to the strangers still commenting, she offered a much sharper suggestion about keeping opinions to themselves. Her case is the purest proof of what this era has done to us. Grief now gets mistaken for a prescription. Number 16. This is the entry that goes somewhere no other story in this series has gone, because it's not about a face at all. Bunnie XO, podcast host and wife of country star Jelly Roll, decided to try a GLP-1 medication after looking at her family's history with diabetes. A reasonable, health-driven choice, the kind of decision thousands of people make every month. What happened next is the part nobody talks about. In a December 2025 interview with People, she revealed that the medication affected her mental health in a way that genuinely frightened her. Her words were stark. She said she'd always prided herself on only ever dealing with anxiety, never depression. So when she was suddenly hit with dark, intrusive thoughts and disturbing mental imagery, she described the experience as horrific.
My eyes were black. I had no joy, nothing to live for. It was so dark. That's so, and I have a journey with mental health. We're both very open about our mental health. I have severe anxiety, OCD, all that stuff. So it's like.
She went through what she called a rough month before coming out the other side and says she's doing well now. But her willingness to say this publicly matters enormously, because the entire cultural conversation around these medications has been about cheekbones and jawlines and red carpets. almost nobody with a platform has talked about what can happen internally. Bunnie XO did. And for anyone considering these medications casually, without medical supervision, her story is the reason that conversation with a doctor isn't optional. It's everything. Number 15, Jenny McCarthy gave the internet one of the cleanest denials in this entire conversation. Flat direct, no wiggle room. Her exact words were, "I'm not an Ozempic person." No carefully lawyered phrasing, no wellness brand deflection. Just a plain statement that she is not part of the trend, which would normally end the discussion completely. Except then she walked the red carpet at the iHeartRadio Music Awards, looking noticeably slimmer than fans had seen her in years, and the discussion reignited instantly. To be completely fair to McCarthy, this is a speculation case, and it stays that way. She has decades of documented history with strict diets, intense wellness routines.
The best fitness tip I've ever been given was probably by Madonna, and that was to run and run.
And openly discussed cosmetic treatments. Her transformation could absolutely be exactly what she says it is, but her case earns its spot on this list because it captures the trap perfectly. In 2026, a denial doesn't close the conversation anymore. The public has watched too many flat denials quietly reverse themselves over the past 3 years, and that accumulated distrust now lands on everyone equally, including the people telling the truth. McCarthy said no.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this Ozempic craze?
I am not going to shame you or, I'll support anything people want to do. For me in particular, I knew that it was not permanent.
The photos said something the internet found more interesting. And in this era, the photos always get the last word, whether they deserve it or not. Number 14. If you only remember one quote from this entire series, make it this one. Brooks Nader, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, said the quiet part louder than anyone in Hollywood has ever dared. Speaking to Bustle in November 2025, she laid it out with zero protective spin. She said, "When I started GLP-1, my career took off. I lost 30 pounds and I booked all the jobs." Sit with that sentence for a moment. A working model in a mainstream interview confirming directly that 30 pounds was the difference between working and booking everything. That's not speculation about industry pressure. That's a receipt. And then she went one step further into territory almost nobody touches. She admitted, "I'm still on it. It's a crutch for me too. It's not healthy. I should get off it." She knows. She said it herself. And she's still on it because the industry she works in rewards the results too consistently to stop. Nader's honesty accidentally explains every single denial in this series. If losing weight books all the jobs, then the medication isn't really a choice anymore. It's a career requirement wearing a wellness costume. She's the only one who admitted that out loud. The villain of this story was never the celebrities. It's the machine that pays them. Number 13. Chelsea Handler's contribution to this conversation might be the most casually shocking admission on this entire list because she revealed how these medications actually move through Hollywood. On a podcast, she explained that she was on Ozempic without even fully realizing it. Her anti-aging doctor had simply prescribed it, the way you'd hand someone a vitamin. Her exact description was that her doctor just hands it out to anybody looking to drop a few pounds. Let that sink in.
Well, so my doctor, my anti-aging doctor, just hands it out to anybody, right? Oh. And obviously now I can't say her name, but I didn't even know I was on it.
A prescription medication designed for managing serious blood sugar conditions, being distributed in Beverly Hills like a party favor for people wanting to lose 5 pounds before an event. Handler stopped taking it after experiencing relentless nausea, and to her credit, she came away from the experience with the sharpest warning anyone has issued. She said, "Everyone is on Ozempic. It's gonna backfire. Something bad is going to happen." That quote has aged into prophecy, considering everything covered across these 4 parts. Handler's case matters because it exposes the supply side of this story. We spend so much time analyzing the celebrities, but somebody is writing these prescriptions. Somebody built a boutique medical culture where this became normal. Handler named it, laughed about it, and walked away. Most people in her circle did neither. Number 12, leave it to Boy George to say what an entire industry spent 3 years dancing around. The Culture Club icon has struggled publicly with his weight for most of his career, writing in his memoir that decades of public and media scrutiny made that battle infinitely harder. So when the new era of weight loss arrived, he tried the traditional route first, undergoing a tummy tuck he described as genuinely painful. Then came Ozempic. Then a switch to Manjaro to stay trim, with no indication as of early 2026 that he plans to stop. But what puts him on this list isn't his own transformation. It's his commentary on everyone else's. Boy George essentially declared that anyone in the public eye who was noticeably bigger one year and slim the next is on the same wonder medication as everybody else. No exceptions, No polite fictions. Coming from someone inside the industry, someone actually using it and saying so, that blanket statement carried real weight. His honesty lands differently than most because there's no brand strategy behind it. Just a man in his 60s who spent 40 years being picked apart by tabloids and has simply run out of patience for the pretending. Sometimes the most credible witness is the one with nothing left to protect. Number 11. The millionaire matchmaker approached this entire era exactly the way you'd expect her to. Efficiently, transparently, and with a plan for every side effect. Back in February 2023, before most celebrities would even say the word Ozempic out loud,
Even when I first started hearing about the weight loss drugs, at the same time I was going through knee surgery, and I felt, I've got to do this on my own. I've got to do this on my...
Stanger went on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast and laid out her whole journey. She said plainly, I'm on the shot. I went on semaglutide. When that medication gave her what she described as the worst acid reflux of her life, she didn't quit the category. She switched to tirzepatide, the ingredient in Manzo, and reported none of the nausea everyone else complains about. The result was a 30-pound transformation that stunned red carpets. But here's the detail that makes her case genuinely instructive. According to Dr. Stuart Dorfman, speaking to Radar Online, Stanger avoided the facial deflation that has defined this entire series by strategically using filler to replace the volume as it disappeared. In other words, she ran the complete playbook, medication for the weight, cosmetic maintenance for the face, and total honesty about all of it. She even noted how normalized it had all become, mentioning that all her hairdresser friends were on Manjaro too. No drama, no denial, no mystery. Just the modern transformation, fully itemized. Number 10, Amanda Bynes' entry in this conversation is the most quietly vulnerable one on the list, and it deserves to be handled that way. The former Nickelodeon star has lived one of the most publicly difficult lives in entertainment, navigating years of personal struggles under a spotlight that never once looked away. So when she posted about her weight loss on Instagram, there was no PR polish to it at all, just raw, unfiltered honesty. She wrote that she usually hates paparazzi pictures because of her weight, then shared that she lost 28 pounds on Ozempic.
I've lost 20 pounds so far. I'm so excited about that, to be honest.
Bringing her down to 152. And then came the sentence that stopped people. She wrote, I know I still look big, but this photo is really inspiring to me. There's something genuinely heartbreaking inside that sentence. A woman celebrating real progress while simultaneously apologizing for not being smaller. That's not vanity talking. That's decades of public commentary about her body, fully internalized, speaking through her own caption. Bynes' case doesn't have surgeons debating or castmates dropping shady confessionals. It's simpler and sadder than that. It shows what the constant scrutiny covered across this entire series actually does to a person over 20 years. It gets inside, and it stays there long after the cameras move on. Number 9, leave it to Joy Behar to accomplish in one sentence what entertainment journalists spent 3 years trying to do. On the February 18th, 2026 episode of The View, the conversation turned to weight loss medications, and Behar, in the most casually devastating moment of daytime television that year, admitted she'd lost 25 pounds and then dropped the bomb. Her exact words were, we all did it. We all did it. The entire panel. And before anyone could soften the moment, her co-host Whoopi Goldberg, who had already been open about her own journey in part 1 of this series, confirmed it.
I weighed almost 300 pounds. I had taken all those steroids. I was on all this stuff. And one of the things that's helped me drop the weight is not Majolica. Mounjaro.
And guest Savannah Chrisley added her own admission in the very same segment. Live television, no edits, no publicists stepping in. What makes this moment so significant is what it represents culturally. These are accomplished women over 50 on one of the most watched shows in America, treating the medication the way a previous generation treated hair color. No shame, no secrecy, just a fact of modern life stated between commercial breaks. Behar's offhand honesty did more to normalize this conversation than 100 carefully crafted magazine covers. Sometimes the most radical act in Hollywood is simply answering the question everyone else keeps dodging. Number 8, Dolores Catania holds a specific title in this entire cultural moment, and she gave it to herself. Her words were, I kind of think I broke the seal on being honest about it. And she's right. The Real Housewives of New Jersey Star was among the very first in the Bravo universe to openly confirm her use.
South Africa doing conservation work, and I'm probably 20 pounds heavier than I was before I left. I am taking my shot tomorrow.
Telling Hello Magazine that Ozempic had been a life changer for both her and her boyfriend Paul, who lost 60 pounds himself. She She spent about 2 years on Ozempic before switching to Mounjaro.
How long have you been on the Ozempic?
6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah. It's actually Mounjaro. It's another part of it.
Oh, that's the amped up.
And crucially, her reasons were documented and medical. She's insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, and manages a thyroid condition, explaining that she was gaining weight every single month before starting.
My Mounjaro stopped working. I gained 20 pounds.
Her own endocrinologist even publicly defended her, calling out the hypocrisy of shaming patients for the visible effects of legitimate treatment. But here's what her case revealed. When a heart procedure forced her to pause the medication, she gained 15 pounds back in about a month, then lost 10 when she resumed. That rebound window is the part most celebrities never show you. Meanwhile, Andy Cohen summed up the entire ecosystem with one legendary line, asking what housewife isn't on Ozempic. Catania just happened to be the first one brave enough to answer. Number 7. Renee Graziano's transformation delivers the single most dramatic confirmed before and after in this entire part, and she's never hidden a moment of it. The Mob Wives alum posted her milestone on Instagram in May 2025 with pure celebration, writing, "Oh baby, I'm down 52 pounds," crediting her weekly Mounjaro shot for the first 5 months of the journey, alongside supplements and notably weekly therapy to work through insecurity and emotional eating. That last detail matters. She wasn't just treating her body, she was treating the reasons behind it. But then came January 2026, and the Instagram video that stopped her followers cold. The change in her face had become so pronounced that fans said she genuinely looked like a different person. Side-by-side comparisons from 2016 to 2025 show a completely transformed facial structure, dramatically leaner, with far more prominent features. Graziano herself frames it entirely as a victory, saying the weight loss has made her feel and look younger than she has in a long time, and that when she sees photos showing the real, visible change, her clear eyes and genuine smile, she has to share them. And honestly, after a lifetime of what she described as ripping herself down to the ground, who could begrudge her that joy? Her face tells one story, her happiness tells another. Both are true at once. Number 6. Lauren Manzo's story might be the most emotionally complicated one in this entire series, because she got everything she ever wanted and then had to walk some of it back. The Real Housewives of New Jersey alum spent over a decade having her weight discussed on national television, often by her own family, in moments that fans still bring up with genuine anger today. She battled through strict dieting, a lap ban, and its eventual removal, losing 50 pounds through sheer discipline before using this treatment between 2023 and 2025 to shed 30 more, reaching a number she'd chased her entire adult life. And then came the twist nobody expected. The transformation was so total that fans flooded her posts with worry, describing her as looking fragile and dramatically diminished. And Manzo listened. She recently confessed that she's now actively trying to regain weight because she reached her lifelong goal and discovered she'd gone past it. Think about the cruelty of that arc. A woman shamed for years for being too big, who finally becomes small, only to be told she's now too small. Medical experts caution that layering powerful medications over years of restrictive history carries real risks. But the deeper lesson in Manzo's story is simpler. The finish line she was promised her whole life turned out not to exist. Number 5. Every list in this series needs one person who looked at the entire pipeline and simply said no. In part 4, that person is Ricki Lake, and her story is genuinely satisfying. Between 2023 and 2024, the iconic talk show host lost 40 pounds the old-fashioned way, through keto and intermittent fasting. But here's the detail that makes her case remarkable. Her own doctor pushed her toward this treatment, reportedly telling her she wouldn't succeed without it. Lake's response was pure defiance. She said, "I like a challenge, and I like proving people wrong, and so it pissed me off." She refused the prescription entirely, and then she lost the weight anyway. But Lake's honesty didn't stop at the victory lap. At 55, the rapid loss left her with visible skin laxity around her chin and neck, the same structural reality every person in this series has faced. Instead of pretending otherwise, she underwent a lower face and neck lift, and then celebrated the 1-year anniversary by posting candid before and after photos, calling it one of the best decisions she ever made, because that skin was never going to tighten on its own. No medication, no secrecy, no shame about the surgery. Lake proved there's another way through this era. It just requires telling the truth twice. Number 4. Lindsay Lohan's comeback should have been the feel-good story of the decade. After years of struggles played out mercilessly in the tabloids, she returned to mainstream Hollywood with the Freakier Friday reunion. Sober, working, and genuinely celebrated. Audiences wanted nothing more than to root for her, and they did, right up until they saw her face. The expressive freckled features that defined an entire generation's childhood had been replaced by something remarkably smooth, tight, and noticeably leaner, paired with a visibly slimmer frame. The internet's reaction was equal parts relief and confusion, with commentary suggesting her appearance required serious mental recalibration to process. Lohan's camp pushed back hard on surgery rumors, with her publicist claiming she doesn't have time for surgery, and her father insisting the only tools involved were fillers, Botox, and peels. Her Beverly Hills dermatologist publicly took credit for the so-called Lohan luminosity through a customized cocktail of lasers and injectables, while citing confidentiality on everything else. To be clear, this is a speculation case regarding any medication, but her story exposes something uncomfortable about the industry she returned to. Hollywood welcomed her back on one unspoken condition. The face that came back couldn't show where it had been, and that condition says more about the town than it does about her. Number 3, Kris Jenner earns her spot on this list through a completely different door than everyone else, because her case isn't about deflation, it's about construction. In spring 2025, ahead of a Paris trip, the momager underwent a facelift with New York surgeon Dr. Stephen M. Levine that reportedly cost around $300,000, and the results were so dramatic that they broke the internet's collective brain. She looked decades younger, not refreshed, reversed. Her own explanation was disarmingly casual. She told Vogue Arabia, "I had a facelift about 15 years ago, so it was time for a refresh."
Filmed a facelift 15 years ago.
And you gifted one to a friend, right?
Yes, I did. And I've done everything.
The way you describe repainting a kitchen. Meanwhile, she has repeatedly denied leaning on weight loss medications, making her a fascinating control case for this entire series. Because here's the insider detail that reveals everything about where Hollywood is headed. After her results went public, Dr. Levine's reported rate jumped from roughly $100,000 to as much as $400,000. One face created a gold rush, and that's the real story of the Jenner effect. The medications strip the volume, and the surgeons rebuild it, and the entire economy around celebrity faces now runs on that two-step cycle. Kris didn't just get a facelift, she set the market price for the era's endgame. Number 2, Chrissy Teigen built her entire brand on saying the things celebrities aren't supposed to say, and in September 2025, she brought that same honesty to the most guarded topic in Hollywood. On her podcast Self-Conscious, in conversation with author Johann Hari, Teigen revealed she began using Ozempic after a deeply painful pregnancy loss in 2020, explaining that she'd gained about 40 pounds during that heartbreaking chapter and felt completely stuck in a body that no longer felt like hers. For nearly 4 months, nothing happened. Then the weight came off fast. And that's when she coined the phrase this whole series has been circling. She called it Ozempic blindness, explaining that you lose so much, so steadily, that you genuinely cannot see that you've gone too far. Your eyes stop registering it. Fans certainly registered it, with compilations describing her as unrecognizable compared to her long-established look. But Teigen refused to play the shame game in either direction, saying, "I'm not here to judge. I've done it. Most of my friends are on it." And true to the person she's always been, she added that since the beginning of social media, she's wanted people to know things were never as effortless as they seemed. In an era built on denial, Teigen handed over the whole truth, including the part where she lost track of herself. Number 1. And at number 1, the case that closes the loop on an entire decade of beauty culture. Kylie Jenner didn't just participate in the curvy, sculpted aesthetic of the 2000s. She built it. An entire generation reshaped themselves in her image. So when she appeared across the 2026 Paris Fashion Week and Oscars party circuit, looking dramatically slimmer, with the plush fullness of her signature face replaced by a strikingly leaner structure, it wasn't just a transformation. It was the architect demolishing her own building. Her responses to the concern became instantly infamous. When fans commented on her changing frame, she brushed it off with, "It's actually the 0.5 zoom on the iPhone camera, LOL." Then came the moment that ignited genuine fury. She attributed her appetite control to a konjac fiber supplement called Cutting Jelly, a claim bariatric surgeon Dr. Hector Perez publicly dismantled, explaining the product is a mechanical trick that simply doesn't belong in the same conversation as GLP-1 medications. TikTok erupted, accusing a billionaire of selling wellness gimmicks to young fans while allegedly having access to elite medical intervention. To be clear, she has confirmed nothing, but her case matters most because of who follows her. Millions of young women chase the body she built, Now they're being handed a new blueprint. And once again, nobody will tell them how it was actually made. 4 parts into this series, a pattern has become impossible to miss, and it has nothing to do with cheekbones. The celebrities who told the truth, the Catanias, the Behars, the Teigens, the Lakes, walked away with their reputations intact and often strengthened. The silence and the deflections are what the public never forgives. But there's a second lesson buried in this part specifically, and it's the one worth carrying into your own life. These medications are powerful, legitimate medical tools, and nearly every cautionary tale in this series shares the same missing ingredient, which is proper supervision. Bunnie XO's experience shows why the mental health conversation belongs in every prescribing appointment. Brooks Nader's confession shows how easily a tool becomes a dependency when your livelihood rewards it. And Chrissy Teigen's idea of Ozempic blindness might be the most useful concept of all, because it applies to anyone, famous or not. When change happens fast, your own eyes become unreliable narrators. So if this conversation ever becomes personal for you, the answer isn't a friend's leftover prescription or a boutique doctor handing out shots like party favors. It's a real physician, honest check-ins, and people around you who are allowed to tell you the truth. Because the body will always keep the score. The goal is making sure someone qualified is reading it. If this series keeps surprising you, subscribe now, because the research for what's next is already underway.